Hi everyone, it's Valerie. It's been a while since I've done a video, and I hope today to do a process video, so we'll see how it goes. But in the meantime, I thought I'd just kind of show you some of the things that's on my desk here that I'm working on. Usually that's the best place to start to get caught up on what we're doing lately. First thing I have is this basket, and I'll just quickly go through some of these things so we can get into the process video. Oh, I guess I should tell you, I'm in the process video. I'm going to do some envelopes, going to embellish some envelopes my way, so that should be lots of fun. So let's see what I have in my basket. My basket of pretties that I've been working on, and I hope the lighting is going to work in here. I may decide to just not upload this video, we'll see. I have been dyeing some appliques and fabrics, and I've been using the inks that I made a while back, the alcohol inks. This is a bottle that I keep the violet in. And then I can just transfer these. Once I've made the ink, I can transfer it into a spray bottle, or in the cases of doing these, I've used a paintbrush. So I just dip the paintbrush into the alcohol ink. You can't like pour your alcohol ink into a bowl and then dip your paintbrush in it like you would with other paints. Because of it being alcohol, it will evaporate. So you just have to dip it in the paint, put the lid back on, and use it that way. So this was, I think this was a bottle that I had labeled apricot. I did a couple of those. I think there's some more in there as well that are labeled apricot. And then this color turned out to be kind of an aubergine. It's a purple that I muted with some browns or some sepia type tones, and it just toned down that purple so it's more like I said, it's more like an aubergine color rather than a violet or a purple. And then I did a lot of these turquoise type colors, and I named this Seafoam Green. Actually, it's just called Seafoam on the bottle. The nice thing about using the paintbrush is you just paint the embroidered part, and even if you get a little bit on the white satin in the background, it doesn't seem to show that much, and I can just sort of put my finger on it quickly, and I can get it off of the satin because it seems to pool on the satin a little bit. And if you get a bit on the satin, it's not a big deal anyways. It just looks beautiful the way it is. So I can cut these out, use them for embellishing, and I am going to use them on some of the envelopes that I'm decorating today and embellishing. I really like this one. Another one like that. This one's a bit darker. Sometimes I may have mixed some of the paints with this to darken it up a little bit, or some of the inks, I should say. That's a nice thing about being an artist, is mixing and matching. And if you're not sure how I made this, you can make alcohol inks out of, just go around and gather up whatever things you have in your house. Like I used food coloring, Easter egg dye, Sharpies and felt pens that have dried up. You take the nibs and the foam that's on the inside and you cut them all up and you soak them in the alcohol for a while. Here's that nice violet. Did some laces. And if you want to mix mica powders with them, make sure that you put a little bit of glycerin in it so the mica powder doesn't rub off. It'll just sort of seal it all up. So because I did this with the paintbrush rather than spraying, it gives a different sort of effect. It's not so heavy on it. And you can see how it didn't soak through all the way to the back. Yeah, so I like the way these turned out. There's another one. Some of the things that you color, for some reason, go a little bit darker, depending on what type of fabrics or threads that are used. This is a much lighter lilac-y color. Very beautiful. And here there's a little bit of blues. I got mixed in here and there. I was going to do this whole doily, but decided not to in the end. I may still do the whole thing in violet, I'm not sure. But again, when you make your own colors and you mix them, like the violet I made mixing purples and blues and reds possibly, you can see how after the inks went on that some of the pigments had separated, but I kind of like that. They don't always separate. In fact, I may have, now that I think about it, I may have put blue in the center, but I did have some pigments that separated, and I'm going to show you some of those in a minute. It's a beautiful pinky color. I say pinky because it's pink. Yes, it's pink, but to me it's a little bit more salmon. Now this color I called cantaloupe. So it's just a pale, very, very pale, peachy almost. This one turned out again a little bit darker. And you have to watch if the alcohol starts to evaporate over time using it, that your pigments will start to darken up. So really nice. I'm not going to show you absolutely everything, but you get the idea. These are just some, I was fooling around cutting out some of the patterns in a tablecloth that I had gotten. I picked up. Now this one turned out pretty because I decided to just paint the flowers. That's a nice thing about using a paintbrush to dye your whatever it is that you're painting, because you can just decide what to paint and what not to paint. Here's another one, larger one. And this is a nice big edge. This came off of the bottom of a wedding dress. And love the way this turned out. Very pretty. Again, this is another piece of a wedding dress. This was around a sleeve. And rather than doing it all, you know, all light or all dark, I like the way that this turned out. You know, I could put some heavier layers on some and then lighter on others, and it gave it that beautiful variegated look. And then we have some blue. There's a very variegated look to this one. Same as that one. And there. And then I got making a lot of these flowers. So you know these flowers that you can make. I don't know what you call them. I just call them like little puff flowers. Just make the little petals, and then you attach them together, however many you want in a cluster and how large you want them. And then I started dyeing these as well. And some of them my daughter sprayed, and I went back and sprayed them again because she was quite She wasn't very liberal. I tend to be a little bit more liberal, but look what happened after they dried. When I turned it over, look what I found. So it's like the pigments kind of settled to the bottom, and then it was left with that. It's absolutely gorgeous. Yeah. And then some of them I went back and added more color to the edges. So I was really, really shocked at the way some of these turned out. Really, really pleased. These are going to really look nice. Put a nice piece of bling in the middle. So I have something here handy. Don't really have anything too fancy, but oh, this one maybe looks a little bit nicer. How pretty that looks. Beautiful. A very blue one I see. There. Isn't that pretty? Oh, some of these just turned out gorgeous. Very pretty. Pretty, pretty, pretty. This one is just sort of one of those variegated ones that didn't have a lot of ink to it. You can really see the difference when you go back and you add a little extra. And this one I just kind of painted on the darker around on the cover, on the edges there. Very variegated purple one. Oh, look at that. Absolutely awesome. So that's my little basket of goodies to show you. So as I mentioned, today we're going to be embellishing some envelopes. I want to show you what I've been, first of all, what I've been doing to these envelopes. I started painting them. So here's one that's just plain. And I was using, I got some gold and some silver paint from the dollar store. I already had some gold. So I went and picked up another jar of gold and another jar of silver. And I like painting, doesn't matter what it is. I just love just something about painting that I just enjoy. It's probably why I became an artist. But I decided to paint some envelopes. And once you start painting envelopes, your mind starts to go and you get ideas about how to embellish them. So I started stamping them. Now here, this looks like I've only given this envelope one coat. But I got really carried away on some of them. So I'll show you one that has a heavier coat. Yeah, here's one that has a little bit of heavier coat, and then I did some stamping on them. Some of these have had up to 4 coats of paint, although it doesn't really look like it, just looking at them. Let me see if I can find one that looks like it's had that many coats on it. Actually, now that they've had a chance to dry, it doesn't really look like they've had up to 4 coats of paint, but some of them have. And it's very, very time consuming. This one looks like it's only had 1 coat of paint. I went back and did a bunch of extra envelopes. It gives it that little extra something, so it's not just a plain envelope anymore. And then this, what happened was I used a great big tote lid, like off of a tote bin, a big, like a Rubbermaid bin, and I used the lid for setting the envelopes on and doing the painting. And the overpainting that went on the lid, I had turned over a piece before it was 100% dry, and when I pulled it off, some of the paint stuck to it and it made it look like gold leafing. So next thing you know, there I was doing it on purpose and peeling it off and sticking it onto envelopes. See if I can find one that I did up really with a lot of it on. Where are the envelopes when you want them? Oh well, it's in here somewhere. We'll get to them. Yeah, so some of these turned out really nice. And we're going to be embellishing them up even more. This one's quite dark compared to the other one. So this one has had probably the 3 or 4 coats that I was using. Very time consuming, so you have to let them all dry. It's a nice little bird stamp. There's some more with that little, looks like gold leafing on it. As you can see, so I just used some of my old envelopes here. And when I embellish them, I'll trim up the edges and cover up any addresses and whatnot that are on there. It's cute. I used some garden stamps for this one. And there's another one with that gold leafing effect. I really like the effect that gave. And it's kind of, when you're peeling it off of the plastic tote lid, oh there's one, it almost, it's kind of stretchy. And then when I put it on, I kind of try and put it on so it's a little bit wrinkled, so you have that interesting effect to it. Yeah, so those are the gold ones, and then I got going. Oh, here's the really dark one I did. Here's the really dark one I did. Oh no, this is a card. That's why. It depends what you paint it on. This was a card that I got in the mail, and it has that, you know, that sort of plastic coat to it, so the ink doesn't tend to sink in as much into the paper, so you get more of a complete coverage on it. So I did some cards as well, and then I got doing the silver. These are the silver, and the silver seemed to have a different finish to it, but you can see, I don't know if you can see here, the difference between putting more coats on and the type of paint that you use. Now I also had my professional acrylics. So these are my professional grade acrylics, and I had them in gold, copper, and silver. And I pretty much cleaned out the gold and the copper. I have a bit of the silver, quite a bit of the silver left. And you don't need as many coats with it because there's more pigment, and it has more viscosity to it, so it's not thin and runny like the dollar store paints are. So 2 coats, but it also takes longer to dry because it's thicker paint. So if you're not into spending a long time painting them, you can either go for spray painting them or get the better quality paint. Now some of these are quite expensive. I tried looking and they didn't have the prices on here anymore, but I'm in Canada and I don't think you'd get these any cheaper than $7, maybe even a lot more. And then I found this, I had some left in this bottle, Accent brand, gold. And this was quite a bit nicer than the dollar store paint. Made a much nicer coverage. And then I also mixed some of them with some mica powder. This is gold mica powder that I got in the dollar store in the makeup section. They're rare, so if you spot them, grab them. So these are the silver ones. Just did a little bit of stamping on some of them. some words, some flowers. Make sure that they're thoroughly dry before you start bundling them together like this, because they will stick. And these were dry and they still stuck. Here's some of that leafing that I did on this page, on this envelope. And this took me hours and hours. I would say probably a good 8-10 hours to do all of these. Very time consuming. Like I said, if you're not into the time, you might want to just get a spray paint. But they're quite different from, you know, gold and silver. Oops, this one's pretty stuck. There's that leafing on that one. They're quite different than any of the papers that you buy that are already gold and silver. It has a totally different effect to them, almost like a, I don't know, a vintage gold and silver, a vintage paper done with gold and silver. This is my little bin full of things that I've done. My cards are slipping inside. I did some playing cards, some different cards. This is the gold cards. Some I did more layers than others. Some playing cards here. I didn't paint over the high cards there. And these are the silver. This one I just gave one coat. You can see the difference, but I like the picture in it. That's why I did that. I'll have to sit here and separate them. I was going to take a little bit of powder, some kind of powder, and powder them a little bit so that they wouldn't stick. But I didn't find any powder that I thought would work. This one really stuck. I might have to, well, once I embellish these up, I can fix those a bit. And then these were the copper ones out of that, the Liquitex copper paint. Very, very good coppery color. Straight out of the bottle. Very nice. And then these ones, I found a bottle of spray ink that I had mixed some mica powder with. And like I said, if you make your inks and you want to put some mica powder in it, just add glycerin. And if it rubs off, you haven't added enough glycerin. And what you can do afterwards is you can spray some kind of fixative over it if you haven't added enough glycerin to the ink. And just spray it with a fixative. They have some new types of fixatives out that leave nice sheens. Like if you want a glossy, kind of a shiny look. I just used a paintbrush and brushed these ones just to sort of tittle them up with a little bit of that. I was just, you know, antiquing some with this kind of, it's kind of a pinky brown, I guess you could say. And I'm into mixing my colors because that's what I do. I'm an artist. I mix things. I mix colors. So I don't just take something out of a bottle. Usually I like to mix it with different colors, but it all depends. Yeah, so that's what I did. So I have a lot of things out here ready to go, ready to start embellishing. I have the laces that I colored, and then I have this bag of trims, odds and ends of laces in here. I pulled out some of these girlies. These are the ones I crocheted myself. crocheted a whole bunch of them. They're very easy to do. And then this was a gift. These were all gifts from my daughter. And this has that vintage, you know, this sort of grungy vintage with gold on it. So I thought they would look really nice against some of the gold. Let's see. Get out here. Yeah, see how nice that's going to look on there? Beautiful. Can't wait to start playing. This one has some flowers. This one, and this one. And what else did I pull out? I'm really, really determined I'm going to start using up my stash. I have to use my stash. No doubt about it. I have some paper clips. There's a big bowl back there full of my yarns and strands of things. And then here I just threw a bunch of odds and ends on here. So some chipboard pieces, some little rhinestones. These are kind of iridescent, so I thought they would go nice. Some of these. Have some cutout flowers of different kinds. These are cute. These would be nice. Some more flowers. Oh, these are, don't spill. These are eyelets. I thought I'd put some eyelets in some. Some silver washi. Where the other washi tape of mine is. Oh, it's so hard to know where everything is, isn't it? So I have that. Oh, and when I got painting, this is something else. Okay. You guys know these, right? Well, you'd think I'd had enough of painting after doing all those envelopes, but no. I painted all of these chipboard. This isn't chipboard. This is actually actual wood. I had a friend that bought a laser machine for laser cutting designs, and he knew that I was an artist, and he said, will you make designs for me to cut out with? I don't know why I didn't at the time. I'm not so much of a designer as I am just an artist, a creator. Yeah, this is more of something that a designer would do. And I had a bag with some extra cutouts, so I doubled up on some of these. So I painted these ones gold, and then I painted the box silver so I could see them, so they would pop. And then on this one I did the opposite. I painted them silver and painted the box gold. So I'm going to do some decorating with those as well. I pulled some of these out of my stash that I'll use. Some of these. Metal embellishments. And then I did some more stamping, and I cut out, so I did some words, mostly words, stamped a bunch of things and cut them out. And then I stamped some butterflies and cut them out. And what did I color these with? You know what? I think I colored these with the alcohol ink. I just used a very tiny paintbrush. And there's some other some other butterflies that I have. Some little sticky notes I thought were pretty. And this is a little washi tape. Washi adhesive sheets. I thought those were nice. And some other stickers. And if that isn't enough, which it will be, I took out some burlap also. I have these, I might have already gone through all of these, maybe not. No, I don't think I have. So I can use these on here as well. What else do we have? These. We may have gone through these. Well, maybe I didn't. I don't remember going through these. And there's 3 more of these boxes. So there's some with letters, more with letters, and more with letters. I have those as well. Those there. And then I have a big thing of ribbons and laces back there, and I have more ribbons over there. And I have a whole bunch of things of bling over there, so I have more than enough to get working on. Just having a sip of my tea. Okay, let's get playing. Let's try this. Let's try this. I even took a stencil out thinking that I might stencil on some of them, but I think that's a bit much. I really want to try some of these. I don't think that'll go. Oh, it would, depending on how. I don't know if it would go with this. Yeah, it will. If I layer it just right, I think it will. Look how beautiful. That is beautiful. Gorgeous. I want to cover up that butterfly. Like that. I might speed some of this up for you. See everybody using that clear glue. I don't have any of it yet. The Tombow glue or fabric glue. I went to Walmart. I thought, okay, I'm going to buy some of this fabric glue. $17? Oy. But I will go get some. Next I have an opportunity. Oh, I was going to lay that. Why didn't I? Okay, well, we'll make a little embellishment of one of these pieces, I think. Just vintage this one up a bit. I also have this beautiful gold foil scrapbook paper, which I just picked up not too long ago. Good time as any to open this package up. Cutting that knife set. Comes with extra blades, which is nice. I used to have a huge one of these. I bought it for when I was doing a lot of sewing. And then somewhere in the amount of moves that I made, it went missing. Some women are so good at this, like I watch them, it just takes them a second and poof, they've gone through these tabs like it's nothing. There. Doesn't take me seconds. This one doesn't have a lid for it though, like others do. I missed something in that container. Oh, it does. It does, it does, it does. Just didn't come out with the lid. And those are the spares, which I will keep right there where I can see them. There, on that. Put that in that cup. Okay. I might fool around with some of these papers on here. We'll look through those. That's pretty. I've gotten to the point where I really don't want to buy any more stuff until I've used up some of the stuff that I have. This one might work good. Oh, that one's nice too. Let's hold the envelope up to them and see which one looks the best. Let's pick a different type of envelope this time. Let's see. Oh, we could do this one. This one doesn't have anything on it. No stamping or anything yet. So we're working with a clean slate. That one looks nice on there. So does that one. That aubergine print. The aubergine. That's almost a perfect match. I brought out one of these flowers too. I don't know. That might be a bit much. That's a bit much. Definitely the aubergine looks better. Oh, it's not too bad. That one's got, I kind of mixed it. There's another one that I've kind of mixed. I do like that violet though. But I don't think it goes with the gold. That definitely does. Okay. I have some kind of silk that I dyed. And I have that aubergine applique. And I put some of this eyelash trim here because it's kind of got that, you know, picked out the dark colors on here. Put some of that on there. And I'm leaving this white in the background. I'm not antiquing it. Just because I have, because I have some white on the lace here, so I want it to kind of all go, and I thought I'd like to put this on the cover somehow as well. So I'm going to put this on here. And this one here says just for you, so I thought my friend would go nicely. And I'll probably put an eyelet Let me see, do I want, I just put a string on here, I guess. I'll put the gold on again. Maybe I'll double it this time. I'm just going to tie it. Oops. Don't come out. Did come out. Just get this right this time. Of course, my first real process video, I suppose there are bound to be things that are going to go wrong. And normally I just kind of show you maybe how it's going here and there, or that kind of thing. I don't really do a lot of process videos. I thought I would give it a shot. Okay, that's not too bad. It's just for decoration. It's not actually to use. Not on this one. It's alright. It's perfect, but it's alright. I'll put that on there somehow. Some ribbon in behind it. These are some of the ribbons that I dyed, or bits of fabric that I dyed. This is either from curtains or wedding dress material. I think these are from curtains. And you can see how when you make your own dyes and you're mixing your colors, how they do separate when they're drying. But that's okay. Great, oh great. Makes it look very vintage that way. Okay, I might glue this and set it aside for now. I do want to put that on there, I think. No, I'm going to put one of these, I think. I'm going to glue this bit by bit. I'm much better with a glue gun. I think this tacky glue is getting a little old. Okay, I'm going to put one of these on here. Bird. I need something behind him. So let me see. Let me see what I can put in behind him. A little piece of that. Oh, found my other scissors accidentally. Ooh, I like that. There we go. That's better. I'm hoping this tacky glue is going to hold. Should. Maybe a piece piece of that in behind here as well. Let's see, just get a little piece cut here. Oopsie. Okay, I'm going to have to go set this aside, put something on it to weigh it down while it dries. And we'll work on it. Let's work on a silver one. And I keep forgetting about my fabric book. This is where I keep samples of the fabrics that I have, and I need to update actually do another one because I've gotten so many more fabrics since I put this together. But if I want to just snip a little piece off when I'm working, I have all my fabrics, bits of fabrics in here that I can choose from. So I just I'm looking for something with a little bit of purple or violet to it. That's a little bit too dark. This one. The pink, I just want the purple. So let's cut a section of this off. There we go. One more in here. I really like this book. Just sits on my shelf, so I need a piece of fabric. I've got one. Oh, that's cute. I think I have enough butterflies on that one. So, where did I put that? None of this washi seems to go in here. Well, I could combine some colors. I could. This would go nice on there. Okay, I will put some lace on here and get back to you. So I've put this little bundle together. I think I'm just going to staple it. Just like that. Set up there. And down. There we go. Stress some of the edges. So I had a lot of trouble with tech. It's one of the reasons why I wasn't able to do videos. And I fought, because I have the new computer, because the old one, I killed it. I murdered it. So I have the new computer, and every time because I film on my smartphone, right? So every time I went to film, all it did was, like when you plug your phone into the computer, it's supposed to upload your supposed to upload your videos, but every time I went to do that, my phone would start charging. It just wasn't working. And it was becoming more and more frustrating, so I kind of gave up for a while. I literally just gave up. I couldn't undo it no more. So I gave up. Some white lace in here. So I thought, well, how am I going to do this? So I went on, I just did other things for a while. Kind of just like gave up, right? And that's a nice one. Then out of the blue, ages later, I decided to try again. Just plug my phone into the computer. Well, because it took me hours and hours. I mean, I would spend hours, days trying to figure it out until I was just like throwing up my hands. This is not working. So everything I do just didn't want to work. So I just I gave up for a while. It just fried me. So, so I decided to just do other things for a while. I did a lot of writing and whatnot. And then out of the blue, I decided to give it one more try months and months later. And it worked. And also I had uploaded things to the cloud. I thought, well, if I can't just upload it to the computer, I'll upload it to the cloud. But I couldn't access it. I tried everything to access it from my computer. It worked once and it wouldn't work again. Really, really frustrating. So I gave up on the cloud as well. And then, yeah, I tried it and it worked. Oh, well, this is amazing. Let's see if I can actually do a video with it. And I was able to. That worked. Surprise, surprise. So I was quite pleased. I was quite pleased. I'm going to staple this together and then just stick it on. Oh, should I? No, I look cheesy. I'll just glue it bit by bit. Yeah, so it worked. It was just a matter of getting my things in order. So I could put another video out. Now I was going to put this on here somewhere. Where? So kind of messed it up, didn't I? Maybe not. Maybe I can still put it right here. There we go. And I'll put something up there. I found this earring, purple on it. I only have one of these. Don't know where the other one is. Okay, I was going to do this little thing. Where did it go? I need some pearls. pointing downwards at the sign. Do not worry, be happy. Some extra glue on that because it is one of those post-it note kind of stickers. Stay. So go behind there. I need a little flower or something here. See if I have a little teeny flower. Think. Do I have a little teeny flower? How about some bling? How about one of these instead of a flower? Oh, I do have a little foam present. And I can put a piece of glue on it. Actually, I might go nice on the closure. And I think they're getting a nice present. Like the first idea I had, find a flower. Let's see what we've got for flowers. Doesn't really go too big. It's not too big, is it? I don't think so. What else can we put on that? That's cute. That's very cute. I like that very muchly. Very muchly. It's amazing what you can do when you just fool around with things. Just sort of all comes together. Just peel and stick things. I think it is. Yeah, I'm going to put some glue on. I don't think that needs a center to that, does it? Flower center? Put anything else on there, it's going to be kind of high. I was going to put this silver washi. Let me see. Do I need the silver washi? I was going to put it along the bottom. You know what? I like that. I'm a sucker for shiny. I really am. You know what they say? Diamonds are a girl's best friend. Oops, I have to lift you up. Or cut around you. Can I lift you up? There we go. Should do this first. Don't do it backwards like me. Should check it, make sure I'm in frame. Not too bad. Not too bad. I'm going to glue this on, I think. Oh, it's sticking pretty good, actually. Okay, now for this closure thing. I like that on there. That looks kind of cute. It needs a little something in behind. I think I pulled out some ribbon. Oh, I have this little flower. Put that on there. Now this is going to need to be glue gunned. I won't have to do it. I won't be able to do it with just that. And then I have this ribbon. Maybe I won't put that on. I'll just use this ribbon. So do another bow again. Of course, everyone wants to see how everybody else does their bows. I don't do them any special. So, let's see. That. I'll put the bow on underneath. Actually, that looks nice. It just sticks. Let me see. Let's do this one first. Oops. That's kind of not good, is it? Oh, too much glue on that one. Okay. Oh, this is a peel and stick too. I don't know where this came from. Not very sticky, I'll tell you that. Glue on the back of the bow. Go on that. And that glue should dry clear, right? Okay, I will go put some weights on this, gentle weights. Let that dry.